Welcome to our weekly governance call number 17. Um, we missed a governance call last week because of the holidays, so we've got a jam-packed one going down today. So hang on to your seats, as we do this. As always, we've got a Zoom link inside the stage chat. Please follow along there. That's where all of the slides are going to be presented at. Please post questions in the stage chat or also raise your hand and we can bring you up on stage to have you ask your question. I'm going to go over a little bit out of order. I had a couple of requests from some folks that had attendance issues. So Marley out there, we're going to bring you up a little earlier, and Gray Machine, we're going to have you save a little bit later, I think, unless I see or you say otherwise. Yeah, other than that, we will go through our normal agenda that we've got outlined here, and I'm super stoked to be back and chatting with you all about all the crazy happenings that have been going on in the DAO recently. So if you're looking at the Zoom, you can see this gorgeous GIF that the new content creation squad has created. Thank you, Gray Machine, for that beautiful work that you keep churning out here. And yeah, Fox did briefly hit $1 for a second. So this GIF is true. I can't wait until it's forever true and we can put higher numbers on there as well. So let's keep rolling along here. We're going to go over all of our recent proposals that passed from the last 2 weeks. We're going to look at some proposals that are active and then look at our forum posts and then open up our stage to some QA if you guys have questions as well. Also on here, you'll see at the bottom, there's a link to the community governance tracker. Our slide deck I condensed a little bit so we don't have as many pages as we used to, but that resource is still extremely helpful. And if you're looking for a high level view of what's going on in any of our individual proposals, what community sentiment looks like kind of on a spreadsheet, please check that out. It's still being updated and there's lots of cool insights that are being built into it right now. And Miss is leading that up. So big Fox props to you, Miss. Thank you for going the extra mile and cleaning this up. And I believe we may have you join me on stage, maybe not this call, maybe the next one, or whenever we can organize it to have you walk through the new and improved governance tracker when that's ready. So all Fox fam, keep your eyes peeled for that. And did we lose Marley already? I want to bring Marley up if we can right now. And if not, we'll get into just the past proposals. But before we get started with past proposals, you snuck one in right last minute here before the call. And it's a really important one and cool one. So I wanted to give you the stage.
Thanks. Yeah, and I've got a meeting coming up, so thanks for letting me jump the line. Yeah, so Taxi Stake put up their second validator proposal. Like 2 or 3 days ago, we sent the first Cosmos validator payment. There's like a Medium article coming out soon about that, and you can DM me or something if you haven't seen the news. And then we just put up a proposal for an osmosis validator. I'd like to get this. I've been talking to the group that's doing the osmosis integration in the ShapeShift platform, and been going back and forth and talking to them for a month or two, and now I'm ready to launch the proposal and get that process moving. I think I'd like to have the payments start occurring in the beginning of the new year. So this month, governance process and building, and then we'll start down it. So yeah.
Awesome. I can't believe you're already moving into another proposal so quickly. It's so exciting to see so much revenue generating opportunities you can provide so quickly.
Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. There's a link that's a little later on in the slide if you're looking for the forum post. And we're not at official ideation yet, are we? This is still up for community
That was
debate.
just posted to the forum. So
Okay.
it's the official first step. I got some feedback from some people close to the osmosis team before I posted it, and so they saw a sneak peek. But it is now up with open for discussion, a 70-30 split of shared commission, just like the Cosmos one.
Awesome. So Fox fam, if you haven't read up on that yet, please take a look at that in the forum post. We'll share these slides in the recorded meetings afterwards as well if you're looking for any of those resources on where to go for those, but it's also just the most recent one posted in the Fox forum. Thanks, Marley, and good luck with your meeting. All right, let's hop on to, we got a big chunk of proposals that have passed since our last governance call. So first one we got up is SCP-37, and Mogi, we've got you on stage here for the redesign of the ShapeShift help desk. You guys got 3.17 million votes, so I'm really glad to see the support behind you. What can we hear next for the plans, and where can people follow the next steps for this?
Hey, Tyler. Hey, everyone. Yeah, so the redesign proposal passed last week. Thank you to everyone who offered feedback, and for those of you that voted. Just a little update of what's happening now. Everything is moving along nicely. I interviewed a web designer earlier today and have 2, possibly 3 more meetings scheduled for next week. So within 2 weeks max, we should have someone selected who can begin the job, which will probably take them around a week to complete. So a rough estimate on when this will be all finished is about 3 weeks from now. I guess if you want to stay updated, you could just send me a DM. There's nowhere like formal where this will be posted, but yeah, I hope everyone's having a good day, and that's all for me.
I just wanted to chime in too, in the feedback that we did get on the forum around the help desk redesign was we got some really great feedback about the actual categories of the help desk and making that more intuitive to the customer. So me and Mogi and the rest of the leadership team actually put our heads together over the past couple of weeks and have kind of rerouted a lot of our articles to make the help desk a bit more intuitive. So those changes actually started taking place today. Me and Mogi have been working on that. And that will also be a part of the help desk redesign, is also kind of the recategorizations and map of the total help desk. So thank you for that feedback.
Yeah, thanks for adding that, Megan.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for the context, and I can't wait to see the slick new help desk there. We've got a whole bunch of exciting things going on. The branding and design new group that we'll be talking about a little bit later. So really happy that we're getting unified with all of our messaging and our content that's going out there to the users. So thank you, Mogi, and can't wait to see it live.
All right. Thank you, Tyler.
Yeah, GM. All right, moving on, we have Gray Machine up next. I see you out in the audience. I know we talked earlier and you said you might not be able to jump up. If you are around and can jump up, I'll bring you. And if you can't, then we will keep moving and we'll come circle back once you're more available. I'm taking that as, all right. Yeah, we'll circle back, Gray Machine. So we've got you later on as well. So moving on, we've got GK is up next, and GK's proposal passed as well, the SCP-39, to actually make the CMODs a full independent work stream. I don't know if you guys had realized beforehand, but GK and all of the mods helpers that have been helping out throughout this, they never actually had a full work stream. It was just a proposal to get things going. Looks like GK can't hop up here as well, but I would like to hear from the horse's mouth, and it sounds like you might be able to join us a little bit later. So I'm really excited, GK, that you got your work stream passed, and I can't wait to bring you up a little bit later when you're ready to talk a little bit about the details about it. So yeah, this is a little bit of us hopping around, fam, but we'll be back. Next, I hope he's out there in the audience, to Kent's tokenomics work stream passed as well. GM Kent. It looks like your team got,
GM Tyler, how you doing today?
doing well. It looks like you guys got a 4.48 million votes there with only 200 no's. So that's quite the strong sentiment that you're the right person to be running this work stream here, and this work stream is needed.
Yeah, it was cool to see that. And by the way, if somebody out there is amongst those 200 no's and you have reservations or ideas about how we might improve the work stream or improve upon my proposal, would love to hear from you as well. But yeah, super excited to get the ball rolling on this. There was a lot of pre-existing momentum just on an ad hoc basis. So, you know, to kind of build on those contributions and already, you know, jump in is really cool. If you guys listened into the tokenomics chat on Tuesday, you'll have some insight into what we're doing. But one of our current initiatives in tandem with the Treasury Management Committee is to diversify our, a portion of our Fox holdings into stablecoins. We're going to be doing this both for payroll and of course for hedging purposes for the inevitable bear market. And also looking forward to focusing on like value accrual mechanisms, really how to drive value to Fox and make Fox more desirable to hold. So if anybody out there wants to get more involved, jump into one of our channels. We have a public tokenomics channel, or just DM me. But yeah, super excited to get this moving.
Awesome. And then do you guys have that tokenomics call? Is that weekly, bi-weekly?
Correct. That's weekly. Currently that's every Tuesday at 4 o'clock Mountain. And then we also have the Treasury Management Committee meeting at 3:30. So if you want the full download of everything happening in that world, then you can just jump in at 3:30 Mountain. Also, I mentioned this earlier this week, but it's worth repeating. Drawing the distinction between the TMDC and tokenomics, there's some direct overlap. You know, I'm leading the tokenomics work stream. I'm also a member of the Treasury Management Committee, but the TMC has authority to spend a certain amount of Fox that was allocated in the initial proposal. Neither me nor like the overall tokenomics workstream has any direct ability to, you know, spend Fox. This all has to be approved either under the scope of what was outlined in the TMC proposal, or of course, you know, bigger decisions are a matter of community governance. But just a reminder that you know, those two things are a little bit different, even though there's plenty of overlap and cross collaboration.
Awesome. Yeah, I can definitely see how there can be a little conflation between the two, but they definitely have different goals and intentions with how their focuses are. So thank you for that. I'm super happy to have you driving both, or being involved in the driving of both.
Glad to be here, sir.
All right. Thanks, Kent GM. And I'll be attending that next meeting with you guys and those big brains in there as a fly on the wall.
See you there.
All right. Now we're going to move on and to our next section, to active proposals. So these are proposals that have gone through the whole process. They've made it through the forum and the early community sentiment and got feedback. They've gone through the ideation phase and templated their proposal in the proper SCP format. And then they have now, after going through that, gone all the way to snapshot here so they can be voted on. So we have two of them up, and the first one is Steve Brew with Top Drawer Merch. This is something that I feel like we've been talking about at governance calls for a month or so now, but it's finally in its final form here, and I got Willie Fox on stage with me to talk a little more.
Thanks, Tyler GM. Yes, it looks like we're finally going to have a ShapeShiftDAO merch store. Steve, I know, has been very busy with Black Friday stuff. It's like the busiest time of the year for them, and he mentioned they were doing 60 drops. So happy to represent for him. The proposal is live, and so far it's got some positive support. This is for a ShapeShiftDAO merch store that would be funded and operated by Top Drawer Merch. Top Drawer Merch is a pretty awesome and experienced merchandise manufacturer and shop operator and shipper. They handle it all. And they've also been working with some other DAOs like Badger DAO and the Bored Ape Yacht Club. So they got some crypto experience. They can do cool like NFT associated drops, and they're interested in doing that. And yes, this includes a 70% profit share for the DAO, and doesn't cost anything for us to get up and running. And they believe that if this proposal passes, they can have the store live before the end of the year. So really excited for this, and shout out to Lorax Dude. If you guys recall, Lorax Dude had the original proposal for a merch store, SCP-23, and that did pass. But The way that this proposal is set up with top drawer merch is that if the new proposal SCP-41 passes, then we will go with top drawer merch as our merch store operator. If not, then we will go with Lorax Dude's original proposal, and he will set up a merch store. So if you have any other questions about this, we did a community call with top drawer merch and Steve about a month ago, and there's a lot of good information in there. So I recommend checking that out, as well as the proposal.
Yeah, also details in the forum posts as you can see the entire epic saga from the first post here to us now finding top drawer merch as well. So anyone who's catching up late to this, there's plenty of reading material and videos to get caught up on all the cool opportunities, the swag, the ability to pay with crypto. There's a whole bunch of really awesome, exciting things coming down from this if we can get it across the finish line. So thanks for stepping in there, Willie. Yeah, thank you, Willie.
5 more days to vote for this one too, and we need some more votes to get past quorum. So I'll post a link in stage chat. Go vote, everybody.
Thank you, sir. All right, and moving on to our next one is the much anticipated Tokamak Core 2 reactor bribe refund. And this is something that our very own Hunt has put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears from that anxiety-inducing time of us crunching to get that Tokamak Core reactor #1 spot. And we did get that. And it took a lot of work and a lot of help from Fox holders at the last minute, kind of pushing us across the finish line. So I don't see Hunt out in the audience. If you haven't, if you're not familiar with this saga and what's going on, there's a whole bunch of calls about Tokamak that I can point you in the right direction for. But this is a really awesome, cool DeFi Lego for ShapeShift and the DAO to utilize inside our kind of tokenomics going forward, and options for one-sided liquidity providing. There's a whole bunch of really cool things that can come from us getting the #1 spot that we did. And in order to secure that, we helped get some bribes from individuals who sent away their personal Fox to make sure for the benefit of the DAO. So this is a proposal that would refund those that very selflessly put up their Fox to make sure that we got the #1 spot. So that is this proposal. It also has about 5 days left for voting and is still pretty young there. So please check out the details of it. And yeah, I see a comment in the stage chat there about the language of the word bribes makes people feel weird. I equally feel that, Danielle. You're not alone there, but apparently bribe is kind of a new nomenclature in a lot of these new curve-fi, DeFi sort of liquidity pool incentive structures. So this is not something that Tokamak created. This is something that is a new language that we got to be hip towards. And Eric's up on stage as well. Hey, Eric, GM.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Absolutely.
Cool. GM. Yeah, couple quick things on this. Yeah, bribe is obviously a weighted term. What this meant in reality is people voluntarily putting up their own money, and that money is paid to anyone who allocated their tokens to the ShapeShift reactor. So it's basically like paying someone and incentivizing them to move their money in the place that you want it to be moved, and it's nothing more nefarious than that. On this proposal of repayment, I wanted to say a couple things. One is I was one of the people that put up a lot of Fox for this, and just speaking for myself here, I did not at all expect it to be repaid or for it to be put up for a vote even. I think it's super kind that people were willing to step up and even propose it be repaid. But myself as one contributor to this does not need, expect, or care for it to be repaid to me. I'm not going to vote on this issue for obvious reasons. If it does end up passing and is repaid, anything that comes back to me, I'm just going to circulate back into some other initiative for the community. So again, I appreciate the gesture from the community side. I will not be bummed or sad if it does not pass. That's totally fine with me. Others who donated may feel differently, but I just wanted to convey those thoughts. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric, for that further context. I see Perklin's on stage as well. Would you like to share any other additional insights there you have?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention one thing. Some of it is similar to what Eric just mentioned. Out of the 15 or so people who ended up using their own money to sway the tokamak vote our way, I was one of them. So if this particular governance proposal does pass, I will benefit from it by having some of my Fox returned to me. Because of that conflict of interest, I'm going to actively avoid voting on this either way. I don't think it's appropriate for me to vote to put money back in my pocket. I don't know if all of the 15 or so people who are on this list feel the way that I do, but I just wanted to let the community know that as a recipient of this, I choose not to vote for this. It's up to you guys. Thanks.
Would you guys, or is it possible for the community to understand what percentage would be left to pay out, hearing that Michael and Eric don't want to be paid back or don't want to influence the decision or didn't expect it, or that? Is there a way for the community to kind of determine how big of a chunk that is?
There's no way to figure that out unless all of the 15 or so people come forward and identify which of those 15 addresses are theirs. I don't think we should ask any community member to dox themselves. If they want to come up on stage like I did and volunteer that information to the audience, that's up to them to do, just like I did and like Eric did. But no, there's no way to figure out exactly who has what percentage.
Okay.
I also too think at this stage we're at with this proposal, if that were to be the pivot that the entire community would be interested in, that maybe the more direct route would be to vote no on this proposal and go back to ideation to have a more clear rule set on how the community would be more comfortable with doing that sort of payback with this information.
I was wondering if you could do the contract ways, and actually those people that don't want it contract wise can actually say no more anonymously. Just curious.
My personal opinion on this is neither Eric or Michael are saying that they're refusing to be paid back or want to. They're just saying they didn't expect to, which is very admirable of them. I personally think I still am personally in support of paying back those who put this up on behalf of the community. I think it was awesome. It brought a ton of value to the community. And if someone like Mike, Eric, or anyone wants to, like Eric said, he would put that Fox towards other initiatives, I think that's even more reason to do it, quite honestly. But also, anyone who doesn't want it could always just send it right back to the Treasury. So if someone really didn't want the Fox and it was reimbursed, they could easily just send it back to the Treasury.
I know a good address you can send it to too if you don't want to. Just DM me.
That's a good point, John. Thanks for bringing that up.
Hey, I want to just say something here too, that I was one of the people who put up some of my personal Fox, and I would really, it was not an insignificant amount to me. I will live if it does not get returned, and I hope that it does. And so I'm here to ask people to vote yes on this proposal. There were a couple people I know that, well, let's see, I don't know, that I suspect also contributed where it was not an insignificant amount for them. And I think it would be great to get it back. And I love that Eric will then redistribute it however he thinks can also benefit the community. And I agree with John, that's definitely not a reason to vote no on this. I think it's another reason to vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. And thank you for putting your Fox on the line, especially if it was a significant amount. I know that takes some courage and some trust and faith in the community that you are working with. So yeah, that proposal still got another 4 or 5 days for us to get some votes in there, and I really appreciate that conversation that we just had from all the different perspectives on that. And if you feel so moved from that conversation, please connect your wallet and vote, and we'll see what the community thinks about that. All right. Hey, GK. I have a feeling you're on stage because you're able to talk now. Is that the case? Can I go back to your slide?
Relatively, yes.
Awesome. Cool. Well, I had just briefly mentioned it, but you actually now have a cool work stream that's funded now. Do you want to talk a little bit about what the implications of that are and what we just passed?
I thought I was more put on the spot. But I got the door closed. She's not in the room, so I can actually talk and not feel too weird. I really don't know how to go about this one.
I'm happy to chat with you though, but maybe
Yes.
first and foremost, this with this work stream, you guys are now getting a couple of members into the work stream. It's not just yourself anymore. You're getting some help.
Yeah, I have Cy and Miss. Cy's going to be the co. He's already doing a lot. He's on almost as much as me. And Miss has been hanging around quite often and helping me organize things, and is going to continue with the back end stuff like that. And then she has a Zoom account at the moment, so she'll be starting Zooms if I can't, or vice versa, that sort of thing. Next question.
Awesome. Yeah. No. And then I guess I would say too. Now that you're a full work stream, does this allow you guys to kind of broaden your scope as well a little bit, or what are those responsibilities? Are you guys jumping? I know that we've had a little bit of talks, and I've heard you say some things about Telegram and stuff like that, but I'm not sure if this helps you guys have a more of a presence in moderation in other places and things like that.
Well, with me adding 2 people concentrating on Discord, I was able to on my own jump into Telegram, got a couple bots set up. I'm not real familiar with Telegram. I've had it for years and just I didn't care for it greatly, so I'm still trying to get used to it. I think it was opened up yesterday for public use, and Reddit is either. I'm ready with Reddit as well if it's not up. I think it's actually public as well now. Some people are starting to post a few things. They're still getting used to that though. It'll be a while.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad that we're giving you the moderation keys that you're able to get, and I'm so appreciative of all the things you do in the background for myself, all the other workstream leaders, and all of our awesome Fox fam. I don't know where we would be without the GK that we have, and I'm so happy that you have a full dedicated workstream for you. So I think the sentiment from the rest of the community is very similar. We all appreciate everything that you do.
And then I got other things coming up. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about some of it yet. That'd be a Willie question, I guess. But I do have it set, and I did fix it if he wanted to actually log into that again. And that's coming up, so I better skip that one. Hopefully that'll help organize this a lot. And I really want my avatar to move when I talk. That's really awesome.
Yeah, you just gotta upload a GIF, and you can have a little dancing image like me.
Okay, I have to get a Vader GIF. All right. All right, I'm out. I'm good.
Awesome. Thank you so much, GK. Super happy and excited for you, and can't wait to see what your newly funded squad will be able to come up with next. And then we also have Gray Machine was able to get up on stage. It looks like now. So GM.
Yeah, let me collect my thoughts here for just a sec. First and foremost, thank you to everybody that voted and supported this new thing. We're starting up a subgroup within the product group and sort of expanding the role of what products is and what it does, which is to be more of a product. And this is, Diggy's writing the proposal for all this, but more or less to become a product and design oriented group. So my group and my role really is to do kind of what I've been doing all along, all the media support, video support, graphic design support, not to be in charge of the brand, but to make sure that the brand is aligned too. And that's really easy for that to descend into chaos with lots of people coming in. And it's all great and good, and we want to embrace all the ideas and creativity that come in, but ultimately we want our outward facing image to somewhat stick to the brand that we've developed. So that's kind of my area of expertise in terms of design, excuse me, design, animation, as well as product management, product launches, that kind of stuff. I'm looking on the slide here. I think we got the budget down another 10,000 from, or at least my section. And I'm trying to think if there's anything that I have that's to offer that's appropriate for this meeting beyond what is listed in that slide right there. And
I had one question about do you have an expectation of timeline of when your squad will be churning out this content? I know there was a comment or two about scheduling, and it sounds like, I don't know if I read through the lines right. Are you bowing it completely and jumping ship from your old job to come join our pirate ship?
Correct. Yeah. So I've been at my current company, Maxon, for this will be my 12th year if I were to stay there. So it's been a good run. Like, I have no regrets. No, it's just time to do something different and do something more creative and kind of shift gears and turn the page, do all of the however you want to phrase it. But yeah, so it'll be a full-time endeavor. So the timing on that kind of depends on how I bow out of it. Tentatively, my plan is as the proposal, or I'm sorry, in the product proposal, the first month is pretty low in terms of the budget, or it's maybe like a third or whatever. So a little bit of, I guess, a little bit full-time. So part-time for the first month of January, right? And then I'm shooting for full-time, pedal to the metal February 1st. If I can do it sooner than that, I will. But as it stands right now, that's how we're putting the budget proposal up. So I guess that's kind of what I'll have to try to stick to anyway.
Awesome.
So,
well, we're definitely glad to have you, and however you need to position yourself to jump in full-time DAO, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. This month at my company is generally pretty slow, and I've got like vacation time I'm using up anyway. So I'll be around a lot, and then January will just kind of be me off ramping myself from the old group and getting ready for next things.
For DAOing it. Yeah, I feel like maybe we need some kind of like, been X days since the DAO orange pilled someone away from fiat completely.
I can't. I Googled. I'm like, oh, is there a Discord? Because I got the airdrop. I'm like, what do I do this? Do I keep it? Do I whatever? And I had absolutely no plans of like finding another full-time job or anything like that. So yeah.
You aren't the first though, too. I know Ron and the operations team as well has gone full DAO. So we've got to either get like a nice wall that we can put everyone's picture up at a cheesy employee of the month thing, or something to just celebrate as this DAO keeps stealing people from legacy shitty finance and bringing them to the light.
Yeah. For every 5, you get a free toaster or something.
At least an NFT.
An NFT of a toaster. All right. Well, if there's not any other questions, I won't take up any more of your time.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's more to discuss, but that's this is more of a scrummy kind of here's what's going on right now kind of discussion. There's a lot more to talk about, definitely.
Totally. Will you be joining the product office hours? Is that where people could find more details about this, your specific squad, or will you have your own specific
I gotta
community
figure
meetings?
all of that out. I mean, right now it's a squad of 1, right? I have lots of people that I would love to bring on, but that's going to be phase 2 of this. Once we establish more of a budget or establish so that we have a need for a larger budget to bring more people in, which I am guessing is going to happen, but it's just going to be me being pretty busy and doing lots of bounties over the next 6 months. So I'm still trying to figure that out, if it's worth me having dedicated subgroup squad meetings of, like it's mainly just me. So it might be part of the product. I got to kind of work that out. And actually, I was chatting with Diggy earlier about I was putting all this stuff into a presentation to kind of walk through what we're doing. So more to come on that.
Awesome. We're here for the journey with you, and super stoked. So I think I'm going to be pulling you back up stage a little bit later for a forum post you had about updates. But thank you so much for giving everyone the details on your new squad. All right. Let's hop. Where were we last? We just finished the bribe. Okay. Now, ideation boardroom is still out, unfortunately. And I did want to take a second to comment on that we did have a post that I'm not sure if our directions on how to do the posts of presenting in the forum and then formatting your proposal into the template with all of the SCP information there and having those timelines be fit before you move all the way to the governance portion of it. We did have a fairly complete, not 100% complete, proposal about the keep key and kind of ownership of open sourcing the keep key, make it all the way to boardroom, but it skipped the governance process. So it was removed from vote just so it could follow the entire governance process. We aren't going to allow people to skip our process and go straight to vote. So that was thankfully removed, and we don't want to discourage whoever was the person that started that proposal. We just want to direct them in the right place. So not sure who that person was, but please reach out to me in DM, reach out to Hunt, the incubation mastermind. I can get anyone to get a proposal out of their thoughts. He's a great person to tap. There's a lot of folks out there that can help direct you in the right place so we can just check the boxes. And then if you want to follow those step-by-step instructions for ideation, you can check those out in this hyperlink in the slide, and it'll give you all of the details, and you can kind of just copy paste your way to our process. I did have a DM from someone who is going to join us well. Conscious, you actually slid in even later than Marley, so I couldn't even get you in the slides. And it sounds like you may have also accidentally gone to boardroom in the forum at the same time. So I know you care about the rules, and we won't banish you or anything like that, but we will make sure that you do the forum post and ideation process before we get to a full vote. But I'd love to have you hop on up here and chat about your proposal that you just put up on the forum post.
Yeah, hello. So number one, I've already corrected my totally new mistake by deleting the formal governance proposal that I accidentally created. And I have linked to the ideation post in the proposal discussion channel in the governance channel group. So that is up there. Please feel free to take a look and comment in a vote, number one, and also comment in a candid but constructive fashion if you have any feedback. So also wanted to preempt, as far as the toke stuff is concerned, I kept an eye on that stuff until the very last minute. I ended up not contributing because it looked like we were going to be pulling ahead, but I did vote to reimburse. So there's that thing in case anybody gives a shit. As far as the ideation post and governance process stuff is concerned, I have that ideation post up to talk about empowering the DAO to run its own server infrastructure so that it can serve its own software backend for its own Web v2 product, the next generation DeFi trading platform that we're all passionately working on. Without basically reading the proposal word for word, the idea is to leverage an existing relationship with Taxi Stake, who the DAO already proxies to run Cosmos validators, to also run a Kubernetes cluster where the Unchained application will be served from. And the Unchained application, for anybody who's not familiar, is got blockchain indexing platform where our front-end client, the web app, will reach out for data about transactions, accounts, balances, all that kind of stuff. As everybody on this call may or may not know, ShapeShift AG, the centralized corporate entity, is dissolving, and the DAO currently depends on ShapeShift AG to run all of its infrastructure. And so if the DAO wants to, serve its product and continue to exist in any fashion, then it will need to find a different, relationship to serve all of that stuff. So the idea is basically to use this existing relationship to run another cluster, stand up some stuff, and set up a Sable stream to reimburse the costs of running this hardware. So yeah, go ahead and take a look at the details on the forum, and if there are any questions about that stuff, I'm happy to answer that now.
Hey, Conscious, thanks for putting this together and for thinking ahead for us all to make sure we stay successful as things dissolve. Was this includes the node and the unchained code? Is that correct?
Yeah, so we have everything wrapped up in a nice, neat little deployable package. The taxi stake operator will just have to, set up some prereqs for actually launching the stuff, and then run a couple commands to run the stuff. It will all deploy onto an EKS cluster, and then we just talk to it with a DNS name like we do currently, and that'll be a reconfiguration that the engineering work stream will just apply a reconfiguration to point at that new instance.
And what other engineers were involved in putting out this proposal and thinking that this would be a successful and the best way to go forward?
I got feedback from most of the people at the foundation. I also got some feedback from Adam specifically. And did I show this to you? I thought I did.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to make it
transparent.
Yeah, and have people know that it was.
Yeah. So I'm pretty sure I also ran this by everybody at the weekly engineering manager meeting at centralized ShapeShift. And yeah, it was pretty complete in its initial manifestation. There were just a couple of extra touch points to add as far as the scope, basically, of the scope of what was going to be run, specifically the Unchained stuff.
Yeah, the one thing that's good about this is that it furthers the idea that the DAO creates open source code and other people run it, right? The DAO does not run this infrastructure, and we have this whole idea, Fox chain, of how we can decentralize in a decentralized manner, incentivize people to run unchained nodes, but that's a ways out, and to be able to have another mechanism to incentivize someone else to run it is a good first step. And this is something that can iterate, right? Whereas if for some reason it doesn't work right out the gate, we just have a little back and forth with Taxi Stake while we figure it out. We continue to run our ShapeShift AG continues to pay for the infrastructure to run its node, and for a while we run both in parallel until we fully cut over, right?
Sort of like the all of ShapeShift AG's employees are going away at the end of the month, and all of its assets are being transferred to the foundation. So there will be a person at the foundation, namely me, operating all that stuff. But I think the idea is to, start trying to divest all of the assets from the foundation or from the legacy ShapeShift accounts to other DAO-controlled entities. Ultimately,
I think the way that I'm thinking about this is just like a teeny step in the direction.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry, John. Go ahead.
Bill.
So the way that I think
you go first, Bill.
There's a little bit of a lag. Sorry. I think the way that we're thinking about this in general is that we know that we need to move away from the foundation-owned infrastructure that we will have, and this provides us a very relatively low-risk way of starting to have that occur. And there's no specific timeline on when the foundation would stop running this infrastructure alongside the DAO instance, but this gives us a step in the right direction to start learning and seeing how this goes in a way that really should be low stakes for us all to get those learnings.
Yeah, well said. Also, I mean, yes, the ShapeShift stuff, the legacy ShapeShift stuff will be continue to run for, I guess, sort of the foreseeable future, basically. But it'll also enable us to have sort of a canary test environment for changes and that sort of thing. In the interim, I expect we will probably have more people out there or more entities out there running this thing, so that we have more redundancy out there. And then, far future, we'll have things like Foxchain come in to serve as a sort of configuration layer where the V2 app will then just round robin or plug in. We'll talk to the V2 app will talk to Foxchain to pull like a list of endpoints to talk to, basically, and then talk to one of those endpoints for data. John?
Yeah, so this is the first I'm hearing about any of this. So I do have a few questions just to understand, and I'll read through the forum posts, but catching me a little bit by surprise. I guess the idea is, like, obviously, and maybe you just answered this, but the foundation obviously is budgeted for a while to run infrastructure on behalf of the DAO, etc. What is the idea? This is like above and beyond that? Does this replace something that the foundation was already budgeted to run for a while? I don't fully understand the proposal.
So yeah, the idea is basically so that that basically to sort of get the initial process of decentralizing infrastructure started, right? The goal of the foundation is to divest itself of centralized assets, right? And we thought that a great place to start would be with this back end, and that the time to do this work would be now, while everything is sort of just getting started and off the ground, rather than much later on down the line when we have a thriving software ecosystem that depends on all this stuff. So while the foundation will still continue to run all of the legacy ShapeShift stuff, this particular endpoint represents like less than 1% of what has been budgeted for, less than 1%, which has been budgeted for the operational expenditures for the infrastructure. So it represents a tiny fraction of everything else that we already are planning to pay to run. Does that answer your question?
Conscious, what's the current monthly budget?
Sort of.
The
Go
proposal
ahead,
in front of me.
Yeah, it's about $1,000.
Yeah, so John, that I think is the real point here, is that this is a very small expenditure compared to the foundation's budget, and it gives us a step in the right direction towards decentralization and learning. It's not meant to supersede or replace the foundation by any means, but it's meant to start us like one tiny step down that path.
Okay, maybe I misread because I was just glancing at the proposal and I thought I saw $4,500. So you're saying this is only $1,000?
No, so the proposal posits that we set up a Sablier contract that has a total of $4,500 USD in Fox tokens to basically serve as and it pays out over 3 months, and then we basically renew on a 3-month iterative cycle with Taxi Stake. So we set up basically a 3-month budget for Taxi Stake to reimburse, and then that gets renewed every 3 months.
Okay, that makes a bit more sense. I guess my initial, I've had this feedback on a lot of proposals lately, but if the idea is that this payments are going to need to be sold to fiat anyway for them to pay AWS or something, would just as soon see the payments rather happen in stablecoin rather than paying them in Fox. But that's my personal preference.
No, yeah, that's legit, I guess. And feel free to suggest that in the forum. I guess, I'm pivoting around Fox as my native currency and all this stuff, for what I perceive as kind of obvious reasons. But yeah, if you feel like it should be done in stablecoins, and we can totally do that too. I don't have a strong opinion either way.
Yeah, that's my initial feedback over this, and think more about it, because again, I'm just learning about this on this call. I wasn't really sure, but yeah, otherwise that generally makes sense. Thanks.
Awesome. I look forward to receiving your feedback.
Yeah, this might be, I want to be conscious of our time here, but this might be one for another call, a group community call where we can talk about the decisions to choose taxi stake with this and what the implications of this mean to the Fox Foundation, to the DAO, to what we're currently running and the benefits and things like that. So sounds like we just created a whole bunch of itches to scratch, at least from John's perspective, and maybe that's deserving of a better call, another call.
Cool.
Yeah, it'd be good to, I think, make sure any engineer that wants to be a part of a call about that, just so everyone's aware of the discussion, what's going on. Because some engineers they're just really heads down and they're not looking. I'll make sure everyone sees this, but it would be good for them to have an opportunity to ask questions before it goes to official vote.
We'll see if we can get something scheduled next week for this, if that works for everyone's engineering in the engineering work stream. And I'll connect with both Conscience and you, Josh, to make sure everyone needs to be involved. Cool. Well, with that, is there anything else you wanted to add on top of that, Conscious, or can we keep keeping on?
No, by all means.
All right. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for. Sorry, I blasted you for doing the proposal. You hit it before anyone saw it.
No worries. I fixed it.
All right.
I learned.
We all learn from down it, you know. All right, now we've got some new forum posts. I recognize we've got 8 minutes to get through these 3 here and another 2 afterwards. So I will ask that if you come jump on stage with me now, let's keep it a little bit tighter to elevator pitches. But I do want to give you guys your time for each of your posts. So Seth, Danielle, if you're out there, please hop on up and we'll give your forum posts that are pre-ideation their due here in the governance call. Let me give Seth an invite. All right.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Fox fan.
If you're interested in chatting more about ETH Denver events and planning, come join us in our channel, ETH Denver Planning. I'll add it in the stage chat. I've made some progress this week, chatted with some VIP guests for the fundraiser. I chatted with Coin Center, just let them know of the idea. So this coming week, I have a call with Shannon, who is with ETH Denver, who will let us know what sponsorships are officially available to us. And that's really the one thing that I'm waiting on right now to move this further into the proposal process. So, you know, initially in the forum post, I have the largest sponsorship. I wasn't sure what was available to us, so I just picked the largest one. I thought that'd be great exposure. Seems like that one is booked all the way and has a few people on the wait list. So we're talking about some smaller ones. I think it's good because some of the feedback we got on the forum post was that was quite a high expense. So I think we're gonna satisfy everything there. I'll let everybody know in that Discord channel what comes out of it. And then, like I said, I'm gonna be moving this forward in the process, putting it in ideation once I get some of those final numbers from ETH Denver. So thanks.
Thank you, Dee, and thanks for making that short and sweet. Seth, hey, we've got Coordinate up here as well.
Yes. So my Coordinate proposal has been around for 2 weeks. For those who don't know, Coordinate is a bottom-up payment solution where essentially you have a budget and then community members who work on a team essentially have tokens they use to give to each other, and their pay is decided proportionally. And so it complements our current payment structure really well. Now, there hasn't been much action on the proposal in the last 2 weeks, but I did make a poll there, and 2/3 of the people who voted approve of it. So I'm moving it forward to ideation a week from today. And the day after, I'm having a AMA where the Coordinate team will be coming over here, and we'll help to address any concerns people have and help to get us a more informed vote for this proposal.
Awesome. And is that scheduled already yet, or is that on the event calendar, or is that coming up TBD?
It is on the calendar.
Awesome, cool. Well, we will share that in the stage chat so people can jump in. And if you haven't educated yourself about Coordinape and how it might be able to work alongside all of the curtain things that we're doing, I'm pretty sure there was a call on an AMA lunch maybe a week or two ago where we got a little more detailed into it and talked and had a great debate. So Seth, I'm not sure if you remember which call that was or if we can find out where to point that to, but that I think was a really great conversation with some details about how it doesn't have to replace everything in Colony and can live
It
alongside.
was last Wednesday.
Cool. Awesome. Well, we will post both of those in the stage chat and please join us for that AMA. And I can't wait until we get to the next step of this for you, Seth, so we can get some votes and then keep moving it on down the list.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Wow, we're I forgot there's 2 more pages. We've got Gray Machine, Kent, and then we've got a couple of comments from Marketing and Growth as well. So unfortunately, I think we might roll a couple of minutes past 4. I apologize for that for anyone who has to leave. I will do my best to keep it succinct, but we're going to keep it going here. And with the Fox fam, if you can keep it with us. So Kent, Gray Machine, if you guys have updates you wanted to talk about, I know there's quite a bit going on in that forum post, Kent, but you're the only one posting so far. And I wasn't sure if you were soliciting feedback in there, if that was a great venue for it.
Yeah, so Tyler, you're talking about specifically the Treasury Committee updates?
Yeah, these are the deliberations inside the forum post.
Yeah, so as a reminder, everyone can follow the actual actions of the Treasury Committee in this forum post. We put those in there. That reminds me, I'm not sure if the latest decision has been put in there. I think Danielle can speak to this as well, but we've been focused on really, like I mentioned before, the main thing right now is to diversify the Treasury. And the immediate need is to gain exposure to stablecoins for payroll purposes. So if you guys want to see kind of the thought processes going on there and how we're deliberating, jump into the public tokenomics channel. Right now we have sort of 3 options for doing this. One is to borrow from our Rari Fuse pool. Right now we have almost $1 million worth of Fox in there. And there's also FEI that we can borrow. FEI, of course, is an algorithmic stablecoin. So the thought is we can actually borrow a good amount of FEI, specifically maybe on the order of like $500,000 of FEI to pay payroll for December. Alternatively, we could take out like an Olympus bond. This is an interesting option, maybe a bit more experimental, but we've been talking to their team about that. And it would be a nice, sort of evolution beyond what we're currently doing with them. Also, we've been talking to Index Co-op potentially about an OTC deal. That's over the counter for those that are unfamiliar with the lingo. And what that really means is it's kind of a peer-to-peer style transaction that doesn't hit the open market. This is a very desirable attribute in terms of, not really like tanking the price of Fox. Of course, we have a lot of Fox. We could just sell it on the open market, but we don't want to flood the market with Fox, tank the price. That's bad for holders in general. And it just kind of, sends the wrong, from an optical perspective, it's not great either. On the other hand, selling a good amount of Fox, perhaps at a small discount to larger investors, is something we would be interested in. And in this case, we would be getting exposure to some of the index and set protocol tokens, namely like DPI, that's a DeFi token, and also the BED index. You guys may have seen this on Bankless. If you listen to that podcast, that's Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the DPI. That would be a nice way to quickly diversify our holdings. But crucially, we could also immediately take those tokens, and because those markets are so liquid, convert those to stables. So it's really, I personally will sleep much easier once we have a good amount of stable coins in our treasury as a hedge against a downtrend, which could really happen anytime. I would really hate for us to be one of those DAOs that has not diversified. There's way too many DAOs out there that are sitting only on their native assets, and that's a huge risk. But this is something that we can mitigate fairly quickly. So that's kind of the main thing. In terms of the Treasury Management Committee, the decisions we make are all done via a vote. We need to get a little, process-wise, we need to get a little bit better or more refined. This is a new thing we're doing. But ideally, we'll have some sort of cryptographic signing method to do this. Now, Michael will take time to make sure that we've done this, and it's a bit time consuming for him, so we can get better. And then of course, we'll have a multi-signing, but yeah, these processes are underway. And like I mentioned earlier, if you guys have any questions, jump into our work stream channel, and happy to hang out.
Awesome. Thanks, Kent. And then just for clarity, would you like people, if they've got questions, to be directing those inside your forum posts, or is that kind of more like a high level, these are the summaries after the calls, and the calls would be the better place to get involved?
Good question. I would say if something relates directly to something we've posted in the forum, you can post there. The main goal of having that thread is really just to kind of have a repository, an archive of decisions that the Treasury Committee has made, so people can kind of just easily look at that. In the future, I hope that we have maybe easy to read like dashboards or other ways that you can quickly see what we've done. But I would say if you kind of have just general thoughts or ideas or suggestions, the more productive way to do that would maybe just be to jump into our public tokenomics channel.
Awesome. Thanks, Kent. All right, and moving right along, trying to squeeze them all in there. Gray Machine's back up here. Would you like to give a quick little rundown about the script that you got in the forum and how people can help you out decide what we're doing there, or if it's where we're at with that?
Sure. So I've been on this ongoing project to create video content, and I saw a need to tackle the root of the root. I don't want a problem. I don't know, the challenge of getting people to understand what a DAO is when they don't understand what a DAO is. A lot of our language talks about DAOs as if people already know what a DAO is. So I wanted to speak at a very low level, not low level like dumbing down the language, but to speak to people from square one. Like why should you care? Why do you want to give your money to this group versus that group? Why instead of paying your Citibank CEO $80 million, be involved in where your funds go and how things happen with your assets. So I wrote a script to kind of speak to this. I posted it on the forum. I got some really great feedback. Thank you, Miss, for kind of floating it by the family at Thanksgiving. And it's sounding like it's making sense. So my next step is to start storyboarding this. And it doesn't sound big maybe, but it's a big script for one person to do all this animation on my own. So it's either going to take a while, or it's something that as the creative services group gets going, might pull in some bounties or something like that. I have somebody in mind. I already got him involved in the Discord here. Animator A.E.M. Embry, he shared his portfolio. A couple people saw it and were on board with his design style. So yeah, that's just kind of where we're at. It's still up on the forum if people would like to read through it and give any other feedback. I would greatly appreciate it. And I think that's all.
Awesome. Thank you, Gray Machine, for all that you're doing and all that you do to reach out to the community to get their feedback as you do it. Really appreciate how you DAO and how you involve the community. We've got 3 more slides. go, and we're going to go through them pretty quickly. One of those is, if you've been checking out the forum recently, you've seen that newsletters have started showing up in multiple languages. And I was going to bring Pete Coin up for just 1 second to chat about kind of the intentions that are going on there and how you could get involved if this is something you're interested in.
Hey everybody, GM. Let me know if you can't hear me. The newsletters are the work of Arena and her content creation squad. Couldn't be more proud of her and what we're accomplishing here. And it's simply to allow people to engage with the DAO in any way that they choose, whether that be by format, whether it's coming to the Discord versus reading a newsletter versus some of the YouTube videos that we hope to produce soon, or by language. And not to put him on the spot if he's in the audience, but the Smith has created a LATAM Labs where we are going across all of LATAM. We have a team that we're building out there. And there is going to be a big push to be taking a lot of the content that we are creating here in the Discord. That's fantastic. And translating it and bringing it into LATAM. And so this is just an evolution of a process that is ongoing from the inception of the work stream and what we proposed in the proposal. And so we are proud that people are seeing it, and we hope that everybody enjoys it. And we're going to keep doing it, and hopefully more and more people can engage with the DAO in any way they choose.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Pete. It's so great to see Arena and is it Japan? I've never actually heard it spoken, so I've just seen his work kind of flowing out prolifically. But it's so great to see DAO contributors hop up and be in the great positions they are with your work stream.
Absolutely. And if you want to contribute to get to the second part of that question, hop into marketing public chat. We are constantly there, constantly working on stuff, and we hope to continue spreading this across multiple different places. We are looking for translators for Russian. We are looking for translators for any number of languages. And so come on down and help us spread the message. And if you can't translate yourself, but you want to just help spread the word in a social way, come there and chat as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Pete. And yeah, go Team Latin Labs. I wish I could speak Spanish or Portuguese and read the things that you guys are churning out there, but it's so exciting to see all of the action you guys are up to. Thank you, Pete. Moving right along to our last ones, we've got some updates from the alpha version of ShapeShift that Diggy had to run to another meeting, but she mentioned that Fox McCloud might be able to hop up here. Hey, Fox.
Hey, Tyler, GM, everyone. Yeah, I'll make it short and sweet. We're really excited to keep progressing with Pendo and hopefully get it into alpha so we can start improving the app continuously. Waiting on Mr. Nerdhair to finish his deep dive, and we'll need to work out with Pendo any issues that he finds. But yeah, that's about it.
Hey, just to give an update on that, I've been distracted by some of the urine router stuff, but I got to look at that on Monday, and there are a few issues that need to be resolved, but I have some test code that I've written to do that for them, and hopefully I can basically give them a PR to fix their analytics client. But I don't see a problem moving forward with Pendo, as long as we don't actually stick it on the web page till those are fixed. So I wouldn't hold up the governance process for that that would be my instinct.
Sure. And do you have contact with Pendo to get that PR?
Yeah, I have. I need to send them the code. I wanted to make sure that it was in a sendable position before I could do that.
Gotcha.
I'm going to have to do that, and I'm sure I'm going to have to schedule a meeting with their engineering guy and talk with him, about it. And it's not that invasive of a set of changes, in my opinion. So hopefully it'll work. Also, I think at this stage, not sure about this, but I think we might be able to make it work so that we can use guides even on the main non-analytics version of the site, which would be very nice.
Yeah, that is very exciting news. Thank you for sharing that. And you'll let myself or anyone else on product know if you need any assistance with any of that.
Will do. Sorry for timing sucks, but anyway.
All good. They should be giving you a bounty for the free security work you're doing for them.
Hear to that. Thank you, Fox McCloud, and thank you, Mr. Nerdhair, for the updates on that. Can't wait to see when we get that all the way through to the community sentiment and see if we can have those two different versions of the open source ShapeShift going at the same time. Get all that juicy analytics. All right, and I'm sure that the reason that you guys are all still here in this call and haven't left yet is because you saw on the agenda that I had a POAP update saved for the very end. And the POAP update that I have to give you is we still are not doing POAPs for our calls yet. We have identified the backlog, and we actually have the content creation team addressing all of the artwork that we still have remaining from our coming soon artwork POAPs previously, back when we were churning them out for all of our meetings. Once the content creation team has finished the rest of those artworks and we have uploaded with the POAP team, we will be able to start using the great degen bot that GK has configured inside our Discord to be able to do those individually for each call that they're generated on, and those POAPs will now become, the generation of those POAPs will become the responsibility of the people leading their calls. So if you are someone who has a call that happens regularly and you'd like to have a POAP attached to it, please start creeping in my DMs, reach out to GK, and we'll start getting you caught up in the process for how we can do that. And if you're interested in creating some of these cool APNGs, Arena is the one right now who is leading up the content creation squad with making all of these. And I'm pretty sure that there is a bounty behind some of these as well. So you can make some cool Fox and get your artwork collected by farmers and shape. Sorry, my phone went off right there at the end. Okay, I don't know if I've got any other updates here other than a shout out and props to Hoff, who didn't get one earlier, for this gorgeous new background that we're going to be using for a while until he churns another new piece of artwork. And shout out to my Bluetooth is going crazy right here at the end of the call. It doesn't want me to do a longer than an hour call. But shout out to Gray Machine for all of the great content that he keeps churning out. As long as he makes it, I'll keep putting it in our slides. If you would like to see your artwork featured in our governance slides, and my Bluetooth isn't cooperating anymore. Well, make it, we'll see it, we'll get it out there, we'll tip you. So make it a good GM. We'll talk to you soon. GM.